Hello there, thank you for joining me for today's practice. My name's Paula. Today is a prenatal yoga sequence. It's quite short and it's targeting the lower back. If you've got 2 blocks, please have them nearby, or some books or anything that you can kind of put your hands on that's solid, that'll raise the floor to your hands. We're going to start in a seated position, so you might want a cushion or a blanket, folded blanket to start with. So when you're ready, let's make a start. So setting yourself up on your blanket or your cushion, or you could just use one of the blocks as well. And whichever leg in front is fine. Just resting the hands down onto the thighs, closing down the eyes. Taking a few moments here to connect with your breathing. Just noticing how you're feeling and where you're at today. And we're just noticing with curiosity and kindness. So whatever is present for you, just allowing it to be here. Starting to just feel into your seat, noticing the sitting bones. And picturing the length of your spine. All the way from the base. And the tailbone, sacrum, lower back, middle back, upper back, and the neck. And with each inhale, imagine space being created between each of the vertebrae. Length through both sides of the waist, and tips of the shoulders falling away from the ears. And allowing the muscles of the face to be soft. And starting to cultivate that longer, deeper breath, slowing down the inhale and slowing down the exhale. Sense of grounding down through the sitting bones as the crown of the head reaches up. So last few moments here in your seat. And then let's gently open up the eyes. Just please feel free to stay seated on your blanket or your cushion. That's going to be really helpful for this next pose that we're going to do. If you feel comfortable, you might want to move it out of the way. And we're going to take the left leg out to the side. The right heel's coming into the groin, but you don't have to bring it too far in. If your belly's there, just keep it a bit further away. And your leg doesn't have to be super wide, and if it's more comfortable to be a bit forward, then take it a bit further forward. We want both sitting bones down on the ground. Use your hands behind you and let's lengthen up to begin with. Easy breathing. Let's take an inhale. As you exhale, taking a twist to your right. So left hand in front, right hand behind you. That left sitting bone stays down. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. left side of the body turning to the right. Taking one more inhale. Stay for the exhale, so if there's any more space, you can turn a little bit more. And then thinking about the left side of the body starting to go towards that left leg, we're going to slide that left hand down the leg. And you might stay quite upright, so don't feel like you have to come too far down. You know, just come to where feels okay. We're going to open up that right side of the body here. And if you've got a bit more space, just come a bit further down, taking that right arm up and over, shoulders away from the ears. And, you know, usually we'd take our head up towards the ceiling, but just see how you're feeling your upper body. You might just keep the head looking straight ahead or even look down towards that left leg. That's whatever feels works for you at the moment. Pressing down through that right sitting bone. Left toes slightly flexed, pointing up towards the ceiling. And then taking an inhale, coming back up to center with the torso, and we'll swap it around. So bringing that left heel in, right leg out to the side, both sitting bones down. We'll just start with the hands behind, thinking about lifting up out of the waist, pressing down through the back of that right thigh, right toes up towards the ceiling. So try not to roll backwards or inwards with this right leg. Then taking an inhale. As you exhale, right hand comes in front and then taking a twist to look over towards the left. And this time it's that right sitting bone that stays down and often wants to lift up to help you twist. You want to ground it down. And the right side of the body trying to turn to the left this time. Taking one more inhale. Stay for the exhale, see if there's any more space. And then thinking about that right side of the body starting to lean over towards that right leg, and you might stay upright, not too far over, so don't feel like you have to start to bend all the way down if that doesn't work for you. Left arm extending up. If you've got that space, right hand sliding down that right leg. Keeping the right toes flexed up towards the ceiling. Reaching that left hand up and over, that left sitting bone grounding down. And remember the options for the eyes, either looking up, you can look straight ahead, or looking slightly down towards that right leg. I'm trying to be in a position where you can keep your breath quite open. You might feel a little bit of restriction, but not too much. And then let's take an inhale, coming back upright and bringing that right leg in. We're going to come over the knees, come into your tabletop position. Setting up the wrists underneath the shoulders, spreading into the hands, tops of the feet down, and then taking your cat-cow. So releasing the belly down, lift the eyes, take an inhale, and then as you exhale, curling the tailbone under, tucking the chin in, pressing the middle part, lower part of the spine up to the ceiling, and then inhale, go the other way, and then exhale. C-curve the spine, and again, inhale, and exhale. Coming back into your neutral spine, tuck the toes under, lifting up into your down facing dog. Giving yourself plenty of space with your down dog, so opening the feet out as wide as you need to make space for your belly and baby. Steady the gaze
in between the feet or through the ankles. Take an inhale to lift the heels up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, take both heels over to the right hand side. And then inhale back through center. Take the heels over to the left. Inhale through center, back over to the right. And inhale through center, over to the left. Coming back to center. Just taking one more breath here. Looking towards the hands, bring the right hand a little bit more towards the center of the mat, stepping the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Giving yourself plenty of space for your belly, and then coming down onto that left knee. Release the top of the left foot down, holding it here. This is definitely somewhere, if you want a little bit more height, you could have your block, tips of the shoulders away from the ears. If it's quite strong on your back knee, you could pop your blanket or your cushion underneath that left knee. Easy breathing. Just gently releasing that left hip down towards the ground. One more full breath. And then starting to shift the hips back. Now this is where you're going to want both of your blocks on either side. I'm going to start to straighten into this right leg, flexing the foot towards the face. If you need a bit more height, you might come up onto the higher setting of your block. Otherwise you can keep it down. If you don't need it, you could keep both hands to the inside because we want this leg slightly out to the side to make space for the belly. And then taking an inhale, reach forward through the sternum. If you've got any more space, you might come a bit further down. Keep flexing the right foot towards the face if you can. And if it's too strong, you can just bend that right knee slightly or come up a little bit higher. One more full breath. And then let's bend into that right leg. Take your blocks with you and pop the block off to the side. Both hands down. Take this left foot behind you, so kickstanding it behind you and walking over towards that left leg. Coming up right, bringing this right leg so it's in line with that left knee, the right toes pointing towards the top of your mat. And just for a moment, left hand on the waist, back of the right hand to the inside of that right knee, turning the eyes to look over the left shoulder. And then let's place that right forearm down onto the right thigh. Take the left arm up and over, shoulders away from the ears, and if you can, looking up towards the ceiling. And then let's take an inhale, come back upright. Taking the left hand down, this is somewhere you might want to use a block underneath that left hand. Take it a little bit further away than underneath your shoulder. Extend this right foot away, right arm comes up and over, looking up towards the ceiling, pressing down through the outside edge of that right foot. Tailbone reaching towards the inside of that right heel. And then let's take an inhale, come up. As you come up, just bend into that right leg so it gives you a bit more stability. And coming back up to center. Turn to face the front of your mat, walking this right foot out to the side. So you're giving yourself space. Place your hands down, left foot back behind you. Tuck the toes under, step back, down facing dog. Taking a breath in your down dog. Then looking forward towards the hands, bring the left hand towards the center and step to the outside of the left hand with the left foot. Coming down onto that right knee, releasing the top of the back foot down. Once again, you might use your block or even two of your blocks. Come up a little bit higher, tips the shoulders away from the ears. One more full breath. And then starting to shift the hips back, using your blocks here, straightening into this left leg, flexing the left foot towards the face, just to where you can. So remember, you can come up higher, or set the blocks up on a higher position. If you don't need the blocks or you want to bring them to the inside of that left leg, then go for that as well. Take an inhale to lengthen out through the spine. And when you're ready, folding a little bit further down if you can. Just meeting those strong sensations in the body with your breathing. Noticing if there's any softening that can happen, particularly on the exhale. One more full breath. Then starting to bend into this left leg. Kickstand this right foot back behind you. Starting to walk your hands around towards this right leg. And just stepping that left leg forward. So you're just setting it up so that left heel's in line with that right knee. Left toes pointing towards the top of the mat. So really opening up that inner left thigh. Back of that left hand to the inside of the knee. Right hand to the waist. And then turning the head to look over the right shoulder. And then placing that left forearm down onto the thigh, right arm up and over. Shoulders away from the ears. Eyes looking up towards the ceiling. And then let's take an inhale, come back up. We're taking this right hand down, a little bit further away from that shoulder line, maybe putting on the block, extending that left leg long, taking that left arm up and over, eyes looking up, if that's okay in your neck. Pressing down through the outside edge of that left foot, tailbone reaching towards the inside of that left heel. So you're not letting that bottom stick back. Energy out through the top fingertips. We're going to start coming up. As you start to come up, bend into that left leg, ground down through that left foot. Coming all the way up. Turning to face the front of the mat, walk this left foot out to the side. Hands coming down. Right foot back behind you, tuck the toes under, stepping back, down facing dog. Just one breath here in your down dog. And then knees nice and wide, big toes together, sitting back into your child's pose. Maybe staying a bit more upright if that feels better for you and where you're at in your pregnancy. Or you might better come a little bit further down, either resting your head onto a block or maybe onto your hands. Just allow those sitting bones to rest back towards the heels. Taking the breath into the lower back. As you inhale, feeling that lower back spread. As you exhale, allowing everything to soften. Just last few breaths here. And starting to walk your hands back up, bringing the knees towards one another so you can sit over to one side. And we're going to set up for our Shavasana. Now, if you do have a bolster and you're in your earlier parts of your pregnancy, you could lie on your back with the bolster underneath your knees, which can be really lovely for your back. If you're a bit later in your pregnancy, then you want to be lying on your left side, and you could have a bolster instead of blocks, but I'm going to use blocks today. So lying on the left side of the body, making sure you've got a little cushion or a pillow for your head. And you could just pop that top right knee onto the block, onto your cushions. Or another position that can be quite nice is to just bend both knees, pop the block in between the thighs, closing down the eyes. Having a sense of completely letting go. Just allowing the face to relax. Releasing the muscles of the face, the forehead, the jaw, the front of the throat, the shoulders, this whole body, letting go and resting here.
Please feel free to stay resting here for as long as you need to. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Namaste.